Imagine a world without electricity. How would you manage your day-to-day life? In a world that's increasingly reliant on technology, losing power, even briefly, can be more than just an inconvenience. It can disrupt your routine, halt your productivity, and even compromise your safety. But what if there was a way to ensure you never have to face such a situation? Enter solar generators and panels, your off-grid lifeline. These renewable energy sources are not just a backup plan, but a path to energy independence. A solar generator doesn't rely on gas or diesel fuel, but on the sun's limitless power. It's a clean, quiet, and reliable source of electricity that can power your essential appliances and devices when the grid fails. Solar panels, on the other hand, are your ticket to long-term sustainability. They harness the sun's energy to generate electricity for your home, freeing you from dependence on the power grid and volatile energy prices. But it's not just about the practical benefits. Solar power is a green solution that reduces your carbon footprint and contributes to a healthier environment. It's a way of living that values self-sufficiency, resiliency, and respect for the earth. However, despite all these perks, the future of solar power isn't entirely sunny. There's a growing concern that legal restrictions may be imposed on solar power in the future. Some speculate that governments could limit the use of solar generators and panels due to grid stability issues or energy market disruptions. While these are just speculations, it's worth considering the potential impact of such restrictions on your preparedness plans. That's why it's advisable to invest in solar power now, while it's still freely available. Solar power not only protects you during emergencies, but also contributes to a sustainable future. It's an essential preparedness item that helps you stay resilient and self-reliant, no matter what life throws your way. Remember, in times of uncertainty, the sun is your reliable ally. Have you ever thought about how you would cook during a power outage? It's a question worth pondering. When the grid goes down, so do most of our modern conveniences, and that includes our kitchen appliances. This is where biomass stoves come into play. These stoves use organic materials like wood or agricultural waste for fuel, making them an efficient and versatile solution for cooking during emergencies. They require no electricity and produce a heat output that rivals traditional stoves. But it's not all about the practicality. There's also the very real potential of future legal restrictions on these life-saving devices. As governments tighten regulations on emissions and solid fuels, the legality of biomass stoves could come into question. So it's wise to consider investing in one before any potential legislation changes. With a biomass stove, you can ensure a hot meal even when the lights go out. In times of crisis, how would you communicate with the outside world? Imagine a situation where cellular networks are down or overloaded and the internet is out of reach. That's where ham radios come in. These radios operate on a variety of frequencies, allowing you to reach out to local, national, and even international networks. They are your ticket to the world when conventional channels are inaccessible. What makes ham radios so reliable? They don't rely on any infrastructure, no towers, no satellites, just the airwaves. This makes them virtually immune to natural disasters, power outages, and human interference. Their range is also impressive. With the right equipment and conditions, you can communicate with people thousands of miles away, but there's a caveat. Governments around the world are increasingly regulating the use of these devices. So, if you're considering getting one, now is the time. Ham radios can be your lifeline when all other communication channels fail. What if supermarkets were no longer an option? Picture this scenario. You're in the comfort of your home, but it's a whole different world outside. In times like these, growing your own food supply becomes more than a hobby. It becomes a lifeline. The key to a sustainable and reliable food supply is heirloom and non-GMO seeds. These are the seeds that our ancestors planted, free from any genetic modification. They produce crops that not only taste better, but can also be harvested for seeds that you can replant, ensuring a continuous food supply. But here's the kicker. There's a potential for future legal restrictions on these seeds, making them a precious commodity. So, it's wise to start your seed collection now. The benefits are clear: food independence, better tasting produce, and the peace of mind that you're prepared for whatever comes your way. Growing your own food can provide security in uncertain times. How would you protect yourself in a dangerous situation? This is a question that should not be taken lightly. One of the most effective and non-lethal self-defense tools at your disposal is pepper spray. Pepper spray is a potent blend of capsaicinoids that can temporarily incapacitate an aggressor, providing you with the crucial time needed to escape or seek help. The beauty of pepper spray lies in its simplicity. It requires no complex training to use, making it a practical option for anyone, regardless of physical strength or skill level. But here's a forethought. As our societies become more regulated, items such as pepper spray may face future legal restrictions. This makes it an essential preparedness item to consider acquiring sooner rather than later. Remember, being prepared is not about living in fear, but about being ready to face any situation confidently. Pepper spray can provide peace of mind when it comes to personal safety. How would you stay warm during a power outage in winter? It's a question that demands an answer. In the heart of an emergency, one crucial factor that can make a difference between survival and succumbing to the elements is warmth. Enter the space blanket. This seemingly simple tool, also known as a thermal blanket or mylar blanket, is a survivalist's best friend. Born out of the space race in the late 1960s, space blankets have found their way into emergency kits across the globe. These blankets are designed to retain up to 90% of your body heat. Despite their thin and lightweight structure, they are incredibly effective. They work by reflecting your body heat back towards you instead of letting it dissipate into the cold air around you. This feature makes them invaluable in frigid conditions, especially during power outages or when stranded in the wilderness. Space blankets are also remarkably compact. You can fold them down to fit in the palm of your hand or the pocket of your backpack. This makes them easy to carry with you wherever you go, from an adventurous hike in the mountains to a simple drive around town. But it's not just the cold they protect against. The reflective nature of the space blanket makes it an excellent tool for signaling in case of emergencies. You can use it to catch the attention of rescue teams, even from a distance. Now you may wonder why we're discussing the potential legality of such a useful item. The truth is, in an increasingly regulated world, even the most benign objects can come under scrutiny. With laws changing rapidly, there's no telling if or when restrictions might be imposed on items like the space blanket. So, consider adding a space blanket to your emergency kit while you still can. It's a small investment for a tool that can potentially save your life or the life of a loved one. After all, it's better to be prepared and not need it, than to need it and not be prepared. Space blankets can offer warmth and protection in the most challenging conditions. What if your credit cards and digital payments stopped working? Imagine a situation where the power grid has gone down and with it, all of our digital conveniences. In this increasingly digital age, we've become reliant on electronic transactions, often overlooking the importance of good old-fashioned hard cash. In the event of a significant power outage or even a cyber attack on banking systems, access to your digital assets could be severely restricted. ATMs may be down, electronic payments could be non-existent, and suddenly your digital wealth means very little. This is where cash comes in. Cash is king in an off-grid world. It's tangible, universally accepted, and requires no power source to use. Having a stash of money tucked away can provide a lifeline in times of crisis, allowing you to purchase essential goods and services when digital methods fail. However, it's not just about stashing bundles of bills under your mattress. It's about being strategic. Keep a variety of denominations on hand. Many smaller bills can be more useful than a few larger ones, especially if people can't make change. Also, remember to store your cash safely. A fireproof and waterproof safe can protect your cash from damage and theft. And always keep it in a secure and accessible location in your home. But here's the catch. Some governments, in an effort to digitize the economy and combat crime, are considering restrictions on the use of cash. In some countries, large cash transactions are already illegal. There's a possibility that in the future, our ability to use cash as we please could be limited. Financial preparedness is a crucial aspect of survival preparedness. And while we should embrace the convenience of digital transactions, we must not forget the value of having physical cash on hand. When the grid goes down, cash can keep you afloat. So make sure you're prepared, because in a world without power, cash is still king.